Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Phizcast. I'm your host, Physic, and yes, I have been gone for a hot minute, but I am back. For now. Recording and thinking of ideas pretty much as I go along. I have a cat on my lap as we speak of this recording, and there's a very good chance that she is going to come up onto the desk and rub up against the mic, in which case I will have to pause the recording or edit it out. So, apologies if that ever does happen. Secondly, I've been gone. For multiple reasons, which can provide for a good sort of story time. First off, pretty much my entire immediate family came home for Thanksgiving, which was last Thursday, of course. For me, at least. And it was sort of packed. I don't exactly live in a place where I can have privacy to record for 10 minutes while there are people here. So yes, I was unable to record for pretty much every one of those days because at all times there was somebody in the room right next to me, and I don't really like people hearing me do this. Yes, secondly, I lost my voice. I had been singing in a choir, a very prestigious choir, that I was very honored to go to, but I'd basically been singing for 8 hours, so I'd lost my voice for a couple of days, and I do not like the sound of my voice when it's, that sort of raspy kind of thing. Yeah, that particular sound's not exactly to my liking. But the sound of the choir was absolutely gorgeous, and I must say, it was a lot of fun. In a couple months, I'm going to be going to another very prestigious choir event, and it is going to be very, very cool, I believe. It's been something that I've never gone to before because I got robbed of it last year thanks to a certain event. But, well, there goes the cat. Hang on for a second. All right, after a brief respite with that, I now realize I have absolutely no idea where I was. So I'm going to pick up where I believe I left off somewhere around something to do with choir. In a couple months, I'm going to be off to another choir event, which is going to be absolutely incredible, I believe. It's truly an honor to go there, especially since I'm one of the few people that I know that have, accomplished something like this, and it's very, very cool to me. But, yes. Anyway, back to why I was missing. I lost my voice for those couple days, but that was a couple days. You don't lose your voice for a full week. No, I got a cold. I got a very small, very brief cold. However, from that cold came a cough. That cough was not so small and not so brief. It lasted for about 8 days. Now that's what it feels like. I don't actually know how long it's been, but it was very infuriating. It was pretty much present the entire, break that I had for Thanksgiving, and it was the worst. I did not like it. It's still around and interrupting this recording as we speak. I even took a cough drop before this, and it's just not doing anything at all. But I was about to record, and I ate that cough drop, and I was sitting there, and I was like, well, I can't record sucking on this thing, and that was not... I don't think I should keep that in. Anyway, I don't think I should record with this, because it'll make noise, and that would be not good. It would be unpleasant. But... So, I didn't. I didn't. And I instead listened to a couple songs. I listened to Bach's C minor Prelude and Fugue, which is a very beautiful song. I would very highly recommend listening to it. And some other song that I can't remember the name of by some guy who has a very complicated name, which narrows it down to pretty much every song in classical genre history ever. That was interesting, and it reminded me of the topic that I actually wanted to talk about today, but thinking of that, I'm halfway through the recording. I really don't know if I should, waste that, because I feel like I have a full, itinerary lined up for that topic. So now I'm kind of stuck in this area where I don't really know what to talk about, but I know exactly what I could talk about. I don't know what I should. I suppose I can keep it to some sort of thing like, keeping your resources or holding off until the right time. Maybe we can try that. We can carry that out for 5 minutes. I've never once thought of this in the the proceedings to this recording, but maybe I can pull something out. You never know. Actually, thinking about it, that is a much better topic. You never know. You never really do know. You can't really prepare for something that's unpreparable. This is one of the reasons why it's hard to drive. Now, it's an interesting thing. It's not necessarily hard to drive, but it does make you think sometimes. Sometimes you have to step back and realize that, like, getting in an accident is just that. It's an accident. It's not your fault. Well, let's assume it's not your fault. Let's say, I don't know, there was a random spot in the road that wasn't there the day before. You just couldn't see it. That was, I don't know, with cinders or whatever, and you just slid off. That's unfortunate. It's, someone else crashing into you. That's definitely not your fault. And it does bring up the question, how was I meant to prepare for this? The simple answer is you weren't. You weren't meant to prepare for anything. You could have reacted to it maybe, but there really isn't much you could have done to prepare. And it goes along expect the unexpected. And that, I believe, is closely related with you can't know what you don't know you don't know. And it's very interesting, that specific concept, because there's literally no way to know what you don't know, because as soon as you know it, then you know you don't know it, or you know it, depending on whether or not you decide to pursue it. And if you don't know, there's really no way you can prepare for it, because there's not a part of your mind that's even thinking about what could happen in this scenario. And it's an interesting thing. You really never know what's going to go on. You don't know how what you say could affect someone, even if it's affected them positively in the past. There could have been something that you were unaware of that may have had some adverse effects instead. When pushing something, doing something even mildly dangerous, like jumping on a trampoline and doing a trick you've done 100 times before until, you slip and end up hurting yourself or straining something and, just goes like that, to something severe like getting in a car accident simply because you were incapable of preparing for that. By no means is that your fault. It just, sometimes that's how the cookie crumbles. You never really know. You just kind of have to go with the flow sometimes. You just kind of have to ride the waves. And adaptation is very, very important. Adaptation on the fly, especially, because there is a difference between preparing for it and knowing what to do by analyzing a situation in an instant. Now, that sounds like some sort of superpower, but I assure you it's not. On a less extreme sort of note, I guess you could say, presenting your music to somebody. Something like that, where you really enjoy what you've made. You think that it's beautiful, it's art, it's what you made. And you know all of the intricacies and you know all of the work that went into it, and the final product is amazing to you. However, you show someone else and you just don't expect them to feel anything but joy and exuberance towards your music, but they don't. What do you really do? I mean, that probably wasn't a great example, because that can just be considered naive. I don't know. This has gone off the rails. This is 100% one of my more off the rails episodes, because I just don't know what to talk about, in spite of me knowing exactly what to talk about and not being able to do that. I don't know. It's something. It's my first time back in a little bit. Give me some slack, all right? Cut me a bit of rope. Quite honestly, I don't know how to fill this last minute. Yeah, I literally don't know what to do. This cat is still on my lap, and my leg is falling asleep. But it's worth it, because cats are adorable, in my humble opinion. Especially this one. This one's been with us for a very long time. Someday I'll get into the story time of that, because that's a very nice story. But she's been good. I'll probably put a picture of her up if I have a good picture of her somewhere. Her name's Princess. She's very cute. And I thank her for tolerating, me moving around and stuff this whole time while recording, and coughing and stuff and what have you. But she's just been here sleeping. Interrupting the recording, of course, and doing whatever she wants, but, cats are as cats do. And I have a very distinct feeling that she's about to do it again. That is fine. It is alright. It's been just about 10 minutes. Hopefully I can keep her here until the recording ends so I don't have to pause it again. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me on this ridiculous episode of the Phizcast. I absolutely don't know what happened, but you know what? Sure. 6 different topics in a video. Why not? Anyway, thank you very much for joining me on this episode of the Phizcast. I will see you when I see you. Bye-bye.